Why, hello there. Welcome to Real Talk Recovery. My name's Bryant. I'm a recovering alcoholic and a gambling addict, and I'm glad you're here. Whether you are at the start of your recovery journey, you're further along, such as myself, you're supporting someone you care about, or you're just curious, this is a great place for you. Because this is a place about honesty, support, and growth. Now, before we dive in, let's address the elephant in the room. You're not going to see my face. And it's not because I'm shy. It's for a couple of reasons. The biggest being that this is not a low budget setup, this is a no budget setup. So I have a choice. Make my audio passable, or make it to where you can actually see my face. I went with the audio. But the thing is either way, it is an excellent representation of what recovery is. Recovery is sometimes bare bones. Sometimes it's difficult. It's always hard. And you just do what you have to do to make it work. In this first video, I want to share why I'm starting this channel. What motivates me, and more importantly, what I hope you'll take away from being a part of this community. Because a few years ago, I found myself in a place that I never thought I'd be. I was lost, I was struggling, and I was wondering how things got so far out of control. And as well, some days I wondered if I was going to even make it to the next day. And that's the essence of addiction. Addiction doesn't care who you are. It will sneak up on anybody. But recovery takes a conscious choice. It is one of the hardest yet most rewarding things I've done. In my journey, I have learned that recovery is not a straight line. There are setbacks. There are doubts. But there are also moments of clarity and growth that remind me I'm on the right path. Think of recovery like a child's placemat at a restaurant. One of the ones where it has that snake-style maze. It loops over the top of itself, it goes around, it literally doesn't ever seem like it's going to get to the end. But yet somehow if you follow that maze right, you will get to the end. That's the important thing with recovery. When I look back on everything I've been through, I realize how much it helped to hear from people who had been where I was. It makes me want to pay that forward and share what I've learned. Now keep in mind, I am not a mental health professional. I am merely an addict who's been there, and who, to be completely honest, is still there. One of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of YouTube content creators, they make recovery look easy. And while I'm not going to sit here and doubt someone else's journey, what I will say is that I have never met someone who said that recovery was easy and that it was sunshine and rainbows. The reality is that recovery is hard. It's raw. It's real, and some days you feel like you are hanging on by a thread. I don't want anyone to see those polished videos, those polished podcasts, and feel discouraged because their journey doesn't look like that. I also don't want recovery to become just another fad. It seems like recovery and mental health are just the latest trends. And this isn't about jumping on a trend. This isn't about chasing views. It's about sharing the truth. The truth that recovery is messy. It's challenging. Some days it feels like things got worse when you started recovery. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. I promise to keep it real with you. That means talking about the hard days, celebrating the wins, no matter how small, and making sure that no one here feels alone in their journey. And I also promise to never be too polished. I'm going to stumble over my words. There's going to be background noise. And I promise to keep it that way. There are a lot of places to talk about recovery. But I want Real Talk Recovery to feel different. I want it to be like a conversation with a friend who's get it. What makes this space special is that it's built on honesty. I'm not going to sugarcoat things or pretend that I've got it all figured out. Recovery is messy. It's emotional. And sometimes it feels impossible. But it's also full of moments that remind you why you started. It's kind of like building IKEA furniture. Yeah, it's confusing. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You're missing a few screws, but somehow it's together and standing on its own. Here we talk about the real stuff. How to cope with triggers. What to do when you feel like giving up. And how to celebrate the small wins that keep you going. But it's not just about the struggles. It's about building a life you love one step at a time. And I mean one step at a time. Literally. Because if you try to do it all at once, you will trip and faceplant. Trust me, I've been there. This isn't just my channel. This is our space. I want you to feel heard, understood, and supported every time you're here. And together, we'll remind each other that recovery is possible and that we're all stronger than we think. If this sounds like something you want to be a part of, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button and join me on this journey. And if you feel comfortable, I would be even more grateful if you dropped a comment below to share where you're at in your recovery journey or what you're hoping to find here. Thank you for listening to this first episode, for giving this channel a chance, and for taking this step, whether it's your first or your millionth. The next episode, I'm going to be talking about the beginning journeys that I made to go to rehab. And then possibly end up talking more about rehab and then what the transition back to the real world was like. Along the way, We're going to discuss pitfalls, things to look out for, possibly even when deciding if you should go, and all sorts of things in between. But more importantly, I want you to remember this: progress, not perfection, is what matters the most. Thank you. I'll talk at you again soon.